Is it a future of environmental collapse and consequently a mass extinction where the majority of humanity will be wiped out completely? If that is our intention, then we're doing great with our current levels of sustainability. When it comes to sustainability, there is just so much misinformation out there. I recently read an article about a very well-known and big architecture firm on one of their latest buildings, stating that it had high levels of sustainability. I was very curious to know what that actually meant, so I clicked on the article only to read that the only measure of sustainability was PV panels on the facade to capture sunlight. Now, to make this clear, just because a building has a green wall or a community patio or some trees and some balconies doesn't actually mean that it's sustainable. You might have heard before, there are certain international certifications like the BREEAM or the LEED that actually give star ratings on various degrees of building performance. But more often than not, those buildings, they have a lower carbon footprint, yes, and they might have been optimized for sunlight, have a few solar panels on the roof. But what is often kept from the public is the fact that those buildings were made by high-embodied energy materiality and chemicals that are detrimental to the health of their users, talking about high levels of sustainability. That's why I believe it's so important for the young generation of architects to look behind the scenes, to go one step further and ask yourself, what does it actually mean to be sustainable? Whenever you hear or see about sustainability, ask yourself, is it possible that I'm being greenwashed? Is it possible that I'm being lied to? Being less bad is not good. So we can ask ourselves, what is good or bad? And I like to think of it in intentions. What is our intention for the future as a collective? What future do we envision for humanity? Is it a future of environmental collapse and consequently a mass extinction where the majority of humanity will be wiped out completely? If that is our intention, then we're doing great with our current levels of sustainability. And if our intention is to make humanity not just survive but thrive in the future, if our intention is to build an equilibrium with all other living systems, to restore the environment and reverse the damage that has already been done, then the current measures of sustainability are not enough. Regeneration is the new sexy. The regeneration is not even the future, because all the tools and the knowledge we need, we already have right now. It's just about action. So the question is, why isn't that happening? Well, the problem goes much deeper. It has not so much to do with a level of doing, but a level of being. So what needs to happen is a fundamental shift in consciousness, a shift in paradigm from design versus nature to design as nature. Now, some of you might ask, what is the regeneration? The thing is that it's not just a practice, it's a whole worldview, it's a state of being. It's not just something that you do, but it's something that you are. And if we really want architecture to change, then we as people need to change. It's about a fundamental shift in perception about who we are and what our place is in the world. It doesn't so much feel like becoming who you are, but more like returning to who you are. Returning to that young, free-spirited, imaginative, creative and bold being that you were as a child. Because if you think about it, childhood, it's the closest thing there is to nature. When you reconnect with that inner child in you, that inner child that is within all of us, that wants to be nurtured, that wants to shine through you, you actually make one full regeneration. You make one full cycle. And this cycle, if you think about it, is a cosmic circle. It's the essence of life. So regeneration is literally the essence of life. So embodying the regeneration is really embodying this cosmic cycle in everything that you do. That whatever you receive, you give back to society. that a building doesn't just take from the environment, but also gives back to the environment. But if you want to know more about the regeneration, then stay tuned for my next episode next week. Some questions to you in the meantime. Who were you as a child? What qualities did you have? What did your childhood sound, smell, and feel like? And what can you do to reconnect back to that feeling today, to that feeling of being a child again? As always, thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed.